Today we have a bit of a different episode for you guys.
I can promise you, you won't want to touch that remote.
Don't do it, rockers. Don't do it!
Max, you don't even belong on set yet.
La, la.
Get out of here.
Sorry,
I got a little
IRB
ahead of
singing
myself.
every day, la la la.
Jake, not you two.
Best show ever.
Be quiet over there.
Guys, get it together. Anyway, rockers, just keep watching.
We all know the music industry stirs up a lot of emotion between artists. Oftentimes it leads to relationships and sometimes even marriage. We wanted to come to a conclusion on who was the greatest musical power couple of all time. And we know that is very hard to narrow down to just one couple. So we're sending it over to Malusi in the other studio to discuss past and present couples with crew members Logan and Randy. At the end of this segment, I'm going to choose one of the couples discussed and name them the GOATs. For those of you who don't know, that means greatest of all time.
Come on now, Cody. Don't put pressure on us. It was already hard enough to think of only two. But I'm going to start off with the ladies first. Who do you think is the power couple of the past? Now, I was told Cody will accept broken up couples, so don't count them out yet.
Okay, I would have to go with Johnny Cash and June Carter. And I don't think a lot of people realize this is a power couple because they forget that June Carter was into music as well. But if you've seen the movie Walk the Line, I think it really shows like how the relationship started and how he was really into drugs and going down a bad path, and she was the one that kind of pulled him out of it and helped him get his stuff together and really helped his career in the end. I know they have the song Jackson together, which is really good. So they stayed together from their 30s until they both passed away. So I think that they were really the couple in the time.
I'm gonna go with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. I think because growing up, I mean, you saw them as the it couple. They were on like Teen Bop magazines and everything. Also, I'd have to say they're retired to the VMAs in all denim, definitely goals. Although they're broken up, I would have to say they were a power couple of the past.
I was gonna say Puffy and J-Lo because Puffy was still relevant back then and J-Lo was just coming out, so like a lot of people are related to them, and like, you know, the Notorious B.I.G. had just like passed away. So like, you know, they're being like Puffy's still relevant, J-Lo's just coming up, so it's kind of like a good mesh of like the time going on. So I would say they were like the power couple of class, and Puffy had a lot to do with J-Lo's like debut album and stuff, which was very successful.
Very true.
So on to the present time. In this very moment, who do you think takes the trophy as the power couple in the music industry?
I'm gonna have to, I know I came on last time and talked about Beyonce, so I'm gonna say it again. Beyonce and Jay-Z, I think, definitely power couple, not only in the music industry, but I think in general, they're very successful. And I think that they sort of help each other out too. They Drunk in Love, Crazy in Love, and they've been together, what, 7
years?
Married. I think before that they were together for a long time. I think they're very successful on their own and together, and they have a cute little family.
Yeah, I definitely love them as well, but I think I'm gonna take the Beyonce and Jay-Z over to country style and say Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. They've been married for 19 years, which is crazy, and I know their story of their engagement was cute, where like they were just like, oh no, like it'd be perfect if we got married, and like right before he went on stage, he asked her, and then she's like, wait, seriously? And he was like, yeah, and then he just like went on stage. And like they've done like multiple duets together, and they're just so cute. They still act like they're young and still in love, so.
Yeah, I would have to say Swizz Beatz and Alicia Keys, and the reason why is because Swizz Beatz has made hip-hop beats for Jay-Z, to Timberland, to T.I., so all the big names in hip-hop, and Alicia Keys has been dominating the charts for like the last 15 years, 4 albums. She's won multiple Grammy Awards and stuff like that, so I think they're very high up there and respected just in music in general. And a side note, their son just produced a track on Kendrick Lamar's like Untitled album.
Wow.
Their son?
How old is? He's like 5.
What?
And he
That's
produced
crazy.
like a track for Kendrick Lamar's album. Kendrick Lamar was like, this kid's a genius. And so I would have to say, yeah, they'd have to take the trophy for me. But now, this won't be a part of the judging, but I'm gonna ask you a bonus question. Who would you guys like to see get together in the future and take over the title?
I'm definitely going for Drake and Rihanna. I've been rooting for them for years, so I think about 5 to 10 years, no, maybe 5 years I think will happen. They came out with Work together, and that's huge, and they're touring together. So I've seen a lot of videos. They're kind of touchy-feely, so I feel like they'll get together. They'll be a great power couple too.
Yeah, I definitely see chemistry there. I'm gonna have to go with the inevitable and Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. I mean, they're so on and off. He just posted a picture of them kissing from like back when they were dating like a long time ago. So sooner or later they're gonna get back together. So
I think that's weird.
It is.
He's posting.
And I think
Yeah.
Selena was just at Justin Bieber's concert, not like
Oh, wow.
like just recently.
Yeah, I saw that
There were
too.
some pictures up about her.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to say Big Sean and Jhené Aiko. I really hope they get together. They have great musical chemistry together, and their birthdays I believe are around the same time as each other. So like they have like just a great friendship going on. So like I just feel like they would be able to like
They can
make
relate
that work.
because of their birthdays.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
All right.
I like
yeah,
it.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Big Sean and Jhené. I just like seeing them together. Okay. Thank you, Logan and Randy, for coming on the segment of the music debate. Back to you, Cody, and good luck choosing just one couple.
You guys made that really difficult, and as much as I'd love to pick Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears because of their denim couple, I'm gonna have to go with Beyonce and Jay-Z because they are so inspirational. So stick around because next we have Rockers Review with Max Knopf.
Welcome, Rockers, to another segment of Rockers Review. Today I am here with Vaughn. Vaughn is a huge music fan, and we're happy to have him. Thank you for coming on. So what album did you bring for us today?
I wanted to talk about the Carter 3 by Lil Wayne.
The Carter 3. I am not big into the hip hop game, but that is like a cornerstone for at least music that we were alive for as far as the hip hop game. So give a little backstory of why this is a big album for you.
Yeah, you pretty much hit on with the cornerstone. It was an album dropped in 2008. It was actually Lil Wayne's 6th album, 3rd of the Carter series, obviously. And the reason why I love this album so much is the only album I actually bought ahead of time. I pre-ordered it, so you could tell I was pretty excited. And that was, I think I was in 8th grade or maybe. So that was pretty much the height of like his rap game. And yeah, I love Lil Wayne. The track ended up, I'm pretty sure they went triple platinum. They sold 1 million in a week and 3 million overall or something like that. But yeah, it was #1 in like 3 different countries. So it was a big album.
Yeah, and that was the first album that I heard Lil Wayne. But like you said, this was his sixth album. So he was making like Fireman and like with a group of people.
Like Hustler Music and stuff, yeah, with like Cash Money Records and Young Money Entertainment and all them. Yeah, he actually started rapping when he was like 14 or 15 years old, which a lot of people don't know. He had a kid when he was like 16 years old or something like that, and was trying to make money to support everything like that. And he went to school for a little bit too. The University of Houston, took a couple classes, and people don't know that either. So there's actually a lot about Lil Wayne that people don't know just besides the mainstream music that he puts out.
Most certainly. And like a lot of it's just party and rap, so like they get it misconstrued like this guy must be out to lunch, sipping scissor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say he likes his purple drink, as everyone says. But yeah,
But
a lot
that
of people
doesn't define him. He
Yeah,
just got ahead on him.
I mean, let's not shy away from the fact that that is kind of who he is. Like he does enjoy the drinking, the smoking, the drugs, and everything. I mean, that's him, I guess. But I mean, he puts good music out there, and he put music out there for a lot of teenagers at a certain point too that wasn't like that. Like you hear his raps now, where he just put an album out with 2 Chainz, and a lot of it's the drugs and stuff like that. But in his older music, he really didn't go to that as much. So that's kind of the album where I liked it more often than now.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the songs on here then. There's Got Money,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, with T-Pain actually. I think that's the 4th song on the album.
Okay.
My personal favorite, I think. Well, it's hard. If you want to go with the rap style, I'd go with a Millie. It's just where he freestyles for like 3 or 4 minutes. He has some insane metaphors and similes on there. Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go with a more slow type of song, I'd have to go with Comfortable, where he kind of talks about a breakup with a girl and everything. That's a little bit of a better song, and it shows a different side of him that not everyone hears all the time.
So we'll definitely have to check that out. Is 3-Pete on that?
Yeah, that's actually the first song on the album.
That's another great one that's just, like you said, football or traveling or sports. It's like just always on.
I was about to say, that album he had was generated towards people like that, where you could use that. I mean, he had a movie come out at the time, LeBron James's movie. It was around that time period too, where that song "Forever" with Eminem and all them were on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, his music kind of was for athletes at some point like that too. So.
But a huge pop star. Like you can't deny that how big he was, and everyone was saying he's the best rapper right now. And he would say it too. He would talk about toilet bowls, saying he's the
Yeah, I was gonna say you can ask me. I mean, to me he's the best rapper of all time. I mean, when I think of my generation of music and who I wanted to listen to, Lil Wayne's right there. I'm from Pittsburgh and I love artists like Wiz Khalifa who's up there. I follow them day to day, but I'd still have to say Lil Wayne's the greatest of my generation.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking music.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It was a good time.
It was great. We'll have to have you back. All right. This has been Rockers Review, and we're gonna send it over to the other room with Cody.
For those Kurt Cobain fans and conspiracy theory experts, this is where we ask for your help. We're bringing up some heart-chilling news that may not be new news, but has been brought up recently around the IUP campus. And we asked you guys on Twitter just what you thought on the matter. Is it possible that what we have thought for the last 21 years about Cobain to be a lie? Is it possible that he didn't commit suicide, but he was actually murdered? By who, you may be asking? The only theory is his very own wife, Courtney Love. Now, I'm not saying this is hard-hitting facts and a definite truth. Nowhere has someone of a higher authority come out and said, we are investigating the murder of Cobain. It's been put away for a while now that it was suicide, but a year ago, a documentary called Soaked in Bleach was released, which contradicts just what everyone has been talking about this so-called suicide. While taking your opinions into consideration, I'm going to discuss just what we think about the situation with crew members Randy Epstein and Logan Custer. So guys, Cobain has had suicidal tendencies before, one in particular in Rome when him and Courtney Love had a romantic evening that ended with Love waking up to find Cobain unconscious after swallowing 50 of her prescription pills and a note saying, "You don't love me anymore. I'd rather die than go through divorce." So do you think this was his first attempt at something that he would later follow through with, or was Love somewhat behind this attempt? And might I add, this all happened exactly 1 month before his death actually occurred.
All right, I'll go first. I think it's kind of a coincidence that it happened exactly a month before he was actually, before he actually died. And it's also very suspicious that it was with her prescription pills. I know you can easily get a hold of that, but after his real death, that's when Courtney started saying he was suicidal and had suicidal tendencies. And also the doctor who helped him out the next morning after the Rome incident said that he knows what suicide attempts look like, and that was not one.
I do think this was his first suicide attempt. I mean, he did leave a note saying that he would rather be dead than go through a divorce, and it was known that Cobain and Love did have marital issues, so I think this was his first attempt. And being her prescription pills, I don't think that she had anything to do with it. I just think it was something that was nearby that he used to try to kill himself, and I think that he tried again a month later.
I definitely agree with Randy to the fact that it seems a little suspicious that it was exactly 1 month from the initial thing of the overdose, and the note, I mean, that could have been forged or something like that. But it wasn't until April 5th, 1994 that Cobain shot himself with a shotgun. In the autopsy report, it stated that he had a lethal dose of heroin in his system as well. It was well known that Cobain struggled with addiction for many years. Some critics say the amount of heroin in his body would make it physically impossible to grab and shoot a gun. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's possible at the rate of how high he was from the heroin that it would make it impossible to shoot the gun. But also another thing is that there were no fingerprints found on the gun or the pen. And like it said in the documentary, you don't wipe away your fingerprints if you're dead. So I think it's very suspicious that there were no fingerprints found on either. And also, I think also mentioned in the documentary that it's not possible to be able to pull that trigger if you doped up on that much heroin.
I think that you can build up a sort of tolerance to heroin, and Cobain was an avid user, so I feel like even though he had a lot in his system, he could still be able to function on that much heroin. I mean, everyone's different, everyone's body is different. Critics can say that, but they don't really know what happened, and everyone's just looking for a controversy in this murder, or this case in general, so I think that people were just looking for something to blame it on, and they blamed it on Courtney. And I do think that the no fingerprints thing is suspicious. I mean, I can't explain how that happened or what, I don't know, I can't explain that part, but I do think that he would be able to actually pull the trigger.
Well, I can't say that I've ever attempted to shoot a gun while on heroin, but I feel like it wouldn't be that hard just to pull a trigger. And it all depends on the angle. Like, he could have rested it on the floor or something like that too, and then just bumped it by accident even. So I feel like it's possible, but the fact that there's no fingerprints or anything anywhere does make it seem a little bit suspicious through like the entire case. In Soaked in Bleach, Love continuously mentions Kurt's battle with depression and suicidal tendencies, but his friends almost laugh at the idea that Cobain would have the intention of ending his life. After he got the right medication for his pinched nerve in his stomach, a close friend said, Kurt became a new person after that. He stopped retreating into the dark side that everybody came to associate him with, and actually seemed cheerful. Part of it was his daughter, Frances. Who did you guys side with? Love saying he was suicidal, or his close friend?
In the documentary, they mentioned how Love started saying he was suicidal after his actual death, and she would say that his uncle was suicidal and his grandfather, and it turns out that his grandfather actually died in a bar because he was drunk and he dropped his gun and it went off. And then his uncle ended up dying from falling down the stairs from being too drunk. So I mean, it could have been a suicidal tendency, but at the same time, that's something that could happen as an accident while being intoxicated. Also, I think that, I agree that like he doesn't seem like he would have been, it's suspicious that Courtney would say that he's suicidal when everyone else said that he wasn't.
Well, I think that in retrospect, Courtney Love could have been like, yeah, he was suicidal, but in the moment before the murder, he could have been happy and he could have been putting on a front in front of his wife and his friends to make it seem like he was okay. But I mean, I feel like everyone kind of does that when they could seem happy, but they're really upset. And that's something that Cobain could have done in the public eye. And then even to his wife, like no one really could have known him and know what he was thinking and what he was planning. So he could have kept that part very private. So I disagree with his friend. Even his close friend couldn't have known that he was planning to commit suicide.
That's
well, Randy, we can see you're leaning more towards Cobain being murdered. You brought up how there were no fingerprints on the pen that was used to write the note with. Do you think the note was intended to be suicide?
I don't think it was, because throughout the entire note, he's talking about his music and his music career and wanting to end that, not wanting to end his life. And then also he is writing it to his imaginary friend. And you would think if it's a suicide note, he would want to write it to his family. He ends it off so short, like writing it to his family, and it doesn't really make sense. His daughter was his whole world, and she was born a year before this all happened, so you think he would want to like write something very deep or something very like memorable for her to remember. And another thing is that in Courtney's bag was found practice notes trying to like mimic his handwriting. And that seems very suspicious, especially because at the end of the note, it's different handwriting. And although that can be because of the drugs, it just also doesn't make sense, because why would it be such a short note towards his family? And also, why would there be practice handwriting in Courtney Love's handbag?
All right. Logan, many people say there's a change in handwriting towards the end where it shifts the mood from music to suicide. What do you think that is?
I think that maybe Randy was right. Maybe he wasn't intending on writing this as a suicide note, but then maybe towards the end, since he was going to end his music career, that was also his whole life, and he became very depressed after that. We don't know. And then he could have done the heroin, and that could maybe explain the change of his writing, and that's the part that he wrote to his family. So maybe that's what made him the most upset, and that emotional toll can make him sort of write different. I mean, we don't know, we weren't there. And so I do think it ended up being a suicide note, maybe not at first, but that was his state of mind at the end. I really think that. And as far as the notes in Courtney Love's handbag, I think that is also very suspicious, but it's just coincidence. We can't put murder on her just because of a coincidence. We don't have evidence.
Well, thank you, Randy and Logan, for helping us debate the 2-decade-old controversy that continues to puzzle people today and may continue to in the future. On Twitter, we asked our followers their opinion. 65% said Cobain committed suicide, while 35% said he was murdered. We hope after this debate you can form an opinion of your own. Unfortunately, we may never know the exact truth of what happened, but we thank those who contributed their opinions. To participate in other polls, be sure to follow us at IRB TV. I will now send it to Steve Barbalasi. We'll check this out.
Hey Rockers, welcome back to Check This Out. I'm here with Liz Masi. How you doing, Liz? It's good to have you on the show.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So I have some questions for you today.
All right, I have some answers.
All right, so what got you into music, you know?
Ooh, well, when I was younger, I won an MP3 player out of a claw machine, and it was like this big and blue, and my dad filled it up with a bunch of Cranberries albums. So I used to listen to them, and now I like music.
Okay, so they got you into music?
For sure.
Why was that?
I just liked her style and the way that she sang, and I don't know, just got me hyped. And a Demi Lovato album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was
that
like
could definitely
8.
do it.
Yeah.
So what instruments do you play?
I play guitar.
Play guitar?
And my vocal cords.
All right.
And recorder in like 3rd grade.
Are you a solo artist, or do you play with bands, or do you just, you know, ask different people to, you know, sing with you?
I do a lot of stuff on my own just because I'm so busy all the time. It's just like a time for me to write songs. But I definitely like jamming with my friends. I brought my 2 friends, Dom and Jake, with me today. They're in a band, and they're gonna help me out.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. So what mainstream artist do you think that you could compare yourself with?
It depends. I write like a couple of different kinds of songs that I play often. I play a little bit of Annie folk, so it kind of sound like the Moldy Peaches. And then
Okay, I've never heard about them before. What would you say their kind of style is?
have you ever seen the movie Juno?
Yes, I have.
Basically like all the music in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a little bit more of like an indie feel, or?
Definitely.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Indie Rockers Ball, it's a good thing that
Well,
you're on the
check
show
this
then.
out, yeah.
So, have you ever performed live?
Yeah, I like, back home, I live in Wilkes-Barre, PA, play around a few bars there, and then I like to go to the open mics around Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I don't have like a very good voice, you know, it seems like it'd be very scary to get up in front of everybody live. What would you say, how does it feel to perform live?
It's fun. I try to write my music with funny lyrics because if I was trying to act serious, I'd probably screw it up because it is a little intimidating to play in front of people. So when you have funny lyrics for most of your songs, it's like easy to mess up, and it gets the crowd involved and it keeps brevity in the atmosphere.
Yeah, keeping a little bit of humor keeps everybody, you know, happy and everything. And
For sure.
Nothing could go wrong with your performance if you're being funny.
Probably a few things.
But hey, but they didn't notice, so it's a good
Yeah.
thing. So, what song are you going to be performing tonight?
It doesn't have a name, and that's
Okay.
because we just threw it together a couple hours ago. I
Really?
wrote the lyrics back in high school, but I never put guitar to it, and I never named it. But yeah,
Do you plan on naming it?
probably, yeah.
Okay, what's this song about, and why did you choose it? Out of any other song that you've made, like, why is this the one that you're performing tonight?
I wrote it about a really long relationship I had in high school, and it yielded a lot of inspirational songs, whether they were like lovey-dovey or just like angry. So I'm gonna play that one because that's what a lot of my songs are about.
Okay, all that emotion that's built up.
Yeah.
All right, you guys heard it first here. Liz Masi with the unknown name for this song.
Like your hair and the way that it moves when you walk down the street with me. I like your voice in the way that it sounds when you speak words to me. everything you do is perfect. All your imperfections make sense. But the perfect that I see is what scares me the most, 'cause it feels too intense. Do you still wear those old shoes, even though they're falling apart? I miss when you skate down the street and play on your guitar, 'cause you sing to me all night, so it played through my head all day. Everything you do is magic and it makes me go crazy. Do you feel me staring at you? You're the only damn thing I see in the room. When will it fall away? What will be the day when I see you for who you are? When will it fall away? What will be the day when I see you for who you are? I like all your t-shirts that you'd wear on different days, and how you'd always go around saying that loving me could never be a phase. I'm expecting to get hurt and I'm planning for you to leave. When does anyone you love ever stick around for sure? Do you feel me staring at you? You're the only damn thing that lights up the room. When will it fall away? What will be the day when I see you for who you are? When will it fall away? What will be the day when I see you for who you are? I will keep staring at you. You're the only thing I want in the room.
Join us next week, Rockers.
And make sure to always be in the loop by following us on Twitter at IRB TV.
See you all next week, and don't marry any crazy bitches.
Can we fire him, like, please? Like,
Beyonce and Jazz. I'm going with Beyonce and Jazz. And Jazz. Just because they're like super cute. I love Justin and Selena, but they're not a couple anymore, unfortunately.